Hey, beloved ones. I wanted to teach you today how to teach yourself guitar. And I actually taught myself. I had a few friends when I was learning that were really generous and kind and patient and taught me chords. And so I want to mention that. But when it came to that first summer after I got a guitar, I just sat there for hours playing guitar, learning new chords, looking up chords online and looking up chord structures. And that was before YouTube was even really a thing, but I could still Google the song title and chords, and I could Google chord charts. So those are some tools I want to offer to you. But beyond that, I want to give you the basics that I had to learn on my own that you can just be off and running. So the first step is getting a guitar. So if you already have one, that's great. If you are looking to buy a beginner guitar, I would actually highly recommend getting yourself a classical. The reason is that these highest three strings are nylon, kind of like plastic. They're a little softer and easier to play than the steel strings on my regular guitar. So if you want to get a really cheap classical, that was like $125. They might be more now, but that would be a good option to start with. And so guitars are not really that expensive, and there are definitely ways to make money here and there that maybe you haven't thought of. One of the big ones is babysitting, actually. If you have friends that you've met their kids, you just love their kids, you hang out with them, it might actually be a really cool blessing to those friends to say, hey, if you guys want to do a date night, I'm trying to get some money to get a guitar, so I'll hang out with your kids while you guys go out. And my husband and I actually do that sometimes for some friends of ours. We just did that recently. And it's just so much fun to get to pour into kids' lives and in a way that also blesses their parents and blesses me. So that's something I would encourage you to do. Or if you're younger, you live at home with your parents, ask about doing extra chores or mow lawns or whatever you can do. It might take some initiative to get a guitar, but it's worth it. And there are ways to get them used, like on Craigslist or OfferUp. Just be sure you have someone go with you and find a safe place to be able to get the guitar. And Bookman's also takes trade for movies and books and knickknacks, so that might also be an option. So you got the guitar, now you got to tune it. So there. So my favorite tuner is this one right here. It's called a snark tuner. And the reason I like it is because it actually picks up the vibrations on the guitar. And so if you're in a noisy room, it's not a huge pain to have to tune your guitar. So you start with the lowest string, at least that's how I always start. And the tuner, I'm just going to take it off here to show you. The tuner is going to show you a little thing. It's going to have a little knob here. See if I can get it to pick up the vibration. So it'll be in the middle when it's tuned. And if it's either back below that this way to the left, it's going to be too low and you're going to want to tighten the string to make it sharper. And this side it's too sharp, so you want to loosen the string. So that's something you'll learn as to which direction it goes. Usually this side is clockwise to tighten, this side is counterclockwise. It's kind of weird. So as you play the guitar, you'll notice on the tuner that the dial is going to go back and forth. So if you can afford to get one of those tuners for about $20, it's worth it. But there are also free tuner apps on your phone. So that's another option. So got to tune your guitar. So the lowest note here is an E. So I'm just going to check and make sure everything's in tune. A is the next one. That one's a little sharp. D, G, B, and E. And so the lowest string and the highest string are actually an octave, like Somewhere Over the Rainbow, those first two notes. So most of the chords you're going to find and the chord structures are going to start with that lowest one. So here's a little thing where I wrote them out, again, to remind you. The lowest is E, the one closest to you, and then goes A, D, G, B, E. And then sometimes you're going to find chord charts that look like this, and they've got dots on the strings, and they've got X's and zeros. So I want to tell you what those mean. So this goes like this, and then this is fret 1, fret 2, fret 3, fret 4, and so on. Starts with the top one, the first two lines, like that first line, this is the first fret, and so on. So it starts at the top of the guitar and goes down. So those are your frets. So the chords I actually prefer, just because I like just having the numbers, are ones written like this. So this is, again, starting with your lowest string. So there's your G, there's your E, and you're putting your finger on that third fret, and then the next string, you're putting it on the second. And then what's cool about these four chords is you actually leave your pinky and your ring finger on the third fret on these strings the entire time. So you just go 3 and 2 for the G, and then 3 and 2 for the C2. Skip 1, the 0 means you leave it open and you don't play these lowest 2 strings. Go to the D, and then 2 and 2 for the E minor. So I know I went kind of fast there, but as you practice these and learn how these line up, it'll help you. So I actually wrote a song just using these 4 chords. And so I want to encourage you that if it feels really difficult to write songs, to know that it doesn't take much to write a song. So here's just the beginning of one of my songs. So there's a G, there's a D, there's an E minor, a D, and a C2. I'm more than sad, no less than lonely, and all I have is this ache. So those are the first couple lines of You Are Good. You can check that out if you want. And I used a capo, and a capo just transposes the key. So every fret you put, it's a half step up. So this is actually not in G. It's actually 6 half steps or 3 full steps up from G. But that's a way to actually change the key, and you could play a song in a different key just by playing these chords and transposing. So that's kind of a cool tool to have as well. So again, with these X's, I want to kind of explain exactly what that means and to kind of give you an example with picking. So this is your bass note. That is going to be a G. Most chords, your last note, the one closest to you, is going to be the lowest note, and it's going to be the note that is that chord. So this is a G, this is a C, this is a D. Sorry, this is a D, the 0. The open string is your D string. And this is an E right here that's open. So open, the 0 means you don't actually put a finger on that string, but you play it. The X means you don't play it. And the reason the X is here is because this 3 right here is your C note. So you don't want to add a G to a chord at the bass that's a C chord. So anyway, hopefully that helps, and you can look that up more and you'll see those patterns as you play more. So as you finger pick, for example, you want to be aware of what the root of your chord is and to play that bass note. So for example, if I'm picking in G, I'm going to start with the G, and then I just like to do the highest 3, so I'd go pointer finger, middle finger, ring finger, and then back to the middle and the pointer. If I move to the C, I'm not going to play this lowest string because this is not a C, this is the C right here. And then the D, for example, you're leaving it open because that's actually your D string. And I'm not even doing this perfectly because I actually just learned how to finger pick back in 2020. During the pandemic, I was like, all right, I'm going to do this because I'd been intimidated by it the whole time. I am so uncoordinated. It honestly just took lots of repetition. So I want to say that a lot of this stuff really does just take actual time and energy to practice. And so just be aware of that. You're not going to get really good really fast. And the more you practice, the faster you're going to get better. But it's going to take some time. And you have to be okay with stumbling around a little bit in this. And being aware that your worth is not determined by your perfection, but your progress. So I just want you to know you can do this. You can grow. It might hurt a little bit as your fingers develop the calluses needed to do this. You're going to have to keep your nails short on this hand because otherwise they'll dig into the fingerboard, but it's going to be worth it. And like I played that song, I wrote that song with just 4 chords. You can write songs with 4 chords. And in fact, I'm going to play some chords from the key of E, and I wrote a song in the key of E that only has 3 chords. So I hope that demystifies songwriting a little bit to know that you don't need very much to start doing it. So this is the key of E. This is another one of my favorites. And this is an open chord, which means there's a lot of O's, there's a lot of open strings. And I love the way it sounds. It's just beautiful. It's very rich and full. So I like to start on the 9th fret first in the middle 2 strings because these 2 strings, you're going to keep your fingers on the entire time, which is really nice. So there's the 7th fret. You're actually going to slide to the 6th fret and the 4th fret for the next chord, and then the 4th and the 2nd, and then that one. So it's really, really nice. I'm going to put this down now just so I can play some chords. And so here's your E, and then you slide to the 6th fret, and then the 4th, and the 2nd, and you just keep your fingers in the exact same spacing except on this 2nd fret here with the A, you're just leaving these 2 fingers here. So My guitar has little dots on the side that help you see where the frets are. So in this case, they start with the third and they go every other. So the ninth fret is actually going to be one of the bottom dots. And then the two dots are the octave mark. So that's where this note is an E again. So anyway, in case you want to know that. So I gotta be honest, I am not great at playing solos. I took a guitar class in college and I was terrible at it. But I just kept playing chords. And at some point I learned how to finger pick years later. So I'm a slow learner and I'm learning to be okay with that. And I'm also learning to just try different things. Like, what happens if I add this note to this chord? What's it going to sound like? And just see if you find some cool stuff discovering it on your own. And also, I played with other people who taught me cool chords. I might do a video later where I give you some more. So here's an example of just a little bit of a song I wrote using only 3 of these 4 chords in E. I don't know why you are so enthralled with me. Most days I just feel hopelessly quirky. So that's Unconditionally. And if you go listen to it, you'll see it's an early song of mine with a lot of lyrics. And so I freely admit that I am in a process. I am always learning and growing. But I want to put those songs out there because they were a part of a season of my life, and I still continue to go back and even revise some of them and try to use the growth that I've had more recently to go back and look at those things. So as you notice, I was strumming on that one, and I was strumming on the other one. Strumming is just a series of up and down strokes. So here's just a very basic strum pattern. Down, up, down, up, down, up. There's also another one you can practice if you want to learn an actual strum pattern, and it's down, down, up, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. And you can find different ones like that online and look for new things and new ways to do that. So that's something to look for. You can also finger pick. You can also just kind of grab a hand, a finger on each string except for the one that you're missing, and just do that. Remember to play the bass note, so like the G and then the C. So those are some ways to play. And if all you can do is a single strum as you slowly move between the chords, you're in a process, and it's really okay. And so I want you to know that you are going to be in a process, and to be gentle with yourself and kind with yourself as you learn. To know that it's going to hurt a little bit as you build up the calluses, and that's okay, and that's normal. And to know that you're going to feel like it's really slow to change between the chords, but don't get discouraged. Don't give up. And I'm going to put this up there too on my Instagram, so check that out at Anna Dufek. Here's some chords. Here's the ones I mentioned in actual chord chart form. And remember, they start with the lowest string and go forward, and it just has a dot where you put your fingers if you're a more visual person. So that'll be on my Instagram, and the other chords I showed you will be on there, and that picture. And I'll probably throw in the one for the Spanish speaking in other countries that use like a do, re, mi, fa, so system instead of the letter notes. So those will be on my Instagram, and I would just love to pray for you. Lord Jesus, I thank you for the people who are watching this, and I pray that you would help this video to find the people that are going to be encouraged. I pray that everyone would be gentle with themselves and patient, and they would stick with it if it's something they really want to do. I pray that you provide guitars for people that need them, and yeah, Lord, you would just use this video for your glory. Thank you for these skills you've taught me and all the years of people encouraging me to keep going, even when I played really loud and I wasn't very good. I just thank you for all the people who saw the potential in me. Help me to be that kind of person for everyone around me, and help these people that try to play guitar and try to learn to be people who see the potential in themselves, even when it's really tiny. Lord, you have made them for a purpose, and I just pray that they would be able to find those things and those people to help them to continue in their journey. I pray this in your name, Jesus. Amen. Thank you so much for watching. I'm so honored by your time, and if you know anyone that would be encouraged by this, please share it. Much love to you all. Bye.